If you love to create blog posts, or you want to get back into blogging, or you are just getting started, I have 7 ideas today to share with you that are ways you can promote your long form blog post content without using social media. These are really fun, perhaps new things that you thought of. So let's get into the show and get started. Welcome to Motivated Online Business Marketing, the podcast where we talk about using strategies to promote your business your way. I'm your host, Jessica Wangelin, wife, mom, website designer, lover of all things DIY projects and natural living. I'm that ambitious mom friend next door who will inspire you to grow business that you love. On this show, we talk about marketing, content creation, website strategy, and productivity so you can make great things happen in your business today. Let's go. Before we get into the show, I absolutely have to invite you to join the waitlist for our new upcoming course called Sites That Shine. This is my new website strategy experience that will help anyone who has a website but doesn't know what to do with it to learn how to use their website as a dynamic and strategic tool to grow their business. You can find all the details at jessicawangelin.com/waitlist. And when you do join the list and then grab the course at our launch on June 18th, you will get a free bonus session to have a conversation with me to talk all about your website plans and then go through the amazing course yourself. So find that at the waitlist, and I will look forward to seeing you there today. Good morning. We're talking about something a little bit maybe controversial today, maybe not. Maybe you're excited to hear this topic because you just really are over social media. You don't want to focus on it anymore, and it's just not your jam. So today we're going to talk about 7 ways to promote your blog posts completely without social media. So tell me if you're excited about hearing this topic. More and more people, this morning I just saw on Threads a whole group of people talking about how they're leaving Instagram, and there were big names of people mentioning that they were going to do the same thing on Instagram. I think in general, this is something that's happening for sure. I think when you look at the big picture about the online space and using social media to grow your business, they all are going to go through these life cycles, right? And we're going to be really excited about them, and new things are going to come out, and it's really going to flow well. And then they're going to take a turn. It's just going to ebb and go back and forth like that. We're on a place where people are really deciding that they don't want to be on social media, whatever that might be, the reason might be for you. If it is for you or not for you, or even if you love social and you are about it all the time, but you just want some new ideas about how to promote your long form content, that's what we're going to chat about today. So let's get started on the episode. Maybe you're just, wanting some new ideas and fresh things to do with your blog posts and your long form things that you write. So here we go. Number 1, first idea to do about sharing your blog posts without using social media. So number 1, you're going to optimize your website. You know that websites are my jam. This is what we talk about. I'm a website designer. I love helping people use that as a major dynamic tool to grow their business. So it's really the hub of your online presence. So when we say optimize it, it can really boost your content's, visibility in a lot of ways. Here's how. Here's some things to do to optimize your website when we say what that means when we say it in terms of sharing your content. So number 1, you want to highlight your blog content on your website in some capacity. So there should be a dedicated section on your website for your best content. These days, most sites, and I talk about WordPress sites all the time because that's the platform I use and love and know the best. So obviously on a site, we have our blog post section. Nowadays, people make customized pages that are really designed very nicely and highlight the different components for your blog post. So say, for example, you can have a section on the site that just feeds your blog posts about, say you're in the wellness space. So it just feeds your blog posts about meal ideas or things like that. And then another space on your website, you have a feed that just talks about workout plans, right? So when we say highlight your blog content, we want to make sure that you can style and design your site so that the best things show up. So you can group similar content like that, make it easy for visitors to come and see what they're looking for. As an example, on a podcast page. So that could be another form of content. If you have a podcast page, it shows all of the ways for people to listen to your podcast with a section for maybe where your blog posts are from podcast episodes and vice versa, that kind of thing. Another way to optimize your website in terms of getting things ready to promote your content is to use internal linking. So this guides people when they're on your website to find other relevant content that they can read more about. We always should have links for other places on our website on the pages of our website. So this keeps people engaged. It encourages them to explore more about what you do. And it is very important also for SEO and will help people learn just those other tips about what they can get from you, where they can find things from you. So an example of ways and things that you would internal link would be to find where people can shop with you, to find where people can go to an opt-in page, to find where people can read another blog post that's related to the one that they're reading about now that you have. So that's an example. Number 2 or 3, when we're talking about optimizing your website to be able to share your content, what you should do with it to get your content ready, is we want to encourage you to share it and to have other people share it as well. So even if you don't exactly post on social, obviously a lot of other people do. They want to share your pins to their Pinterest board. So you want to have sharing buttons available for your content. Expands your reach. It helps people get the message out there. It helps them to save what they like about you and come back to find it at a different place. So do some things to encourage sharing on your site when you're talking about optimizing it and highlighting your content. So also when we talk about sharing our content, our blog posts outside of social media, the one place we love, and it's like back in style, I don't know why, because I don't think it ever went out, but now everyone's talking about it again, is Pinterest. So if you're not on Pinterest, Pinterest is a visual search platform, basically, where people put up images or videos. The formats have changed over the years that link to a specific website address. Most of the time, that is people's blog posts. It's not always. It can go to your shops. It can go to, people have linked it to go to Instagram and all kinds of other places. But Pinterest is fun. It's amazing. It can be a really great source of traffic. There's lots of people on Pinterest. I mean, billions of users, of course. And it's a fun avenue to explore if you're not into it yet, or if you want to get back to it, which I am actually doing. I'll be talking about revising my Pinterest plan very soon. Here's how to make the most of it. Quick 4 things. You want to create eye-catching pins. People are going to look for things that they find visually interesting. You want to optimize those pins. So just like with SEO, keywords do matter on Pinterest. So look for things like that when you're writing your descriptions. Number 3, you want to pin consistently. Of course, keep your topics out there, keep them available, use scheduling tools. I like to use Tailwind. You can find that on my favorite things page. You want to join group boards if you feel like that's something you want to do. Optional, not required. Pinterest never has said that you have to pin other people's content. We just do that. And then we want to create rich pins. Sometimes they have these, sometimes they don't. The format of rich pins is changing, so go back and forth to see if this is available on your account at this point. And then you want to promote your blog post. So every time you promote a blog post, create several pins for it, get those up onto your Pinterest account, and get them out there, right? And then lastly, when it comes to Pinterest, monitor your analytics. See what pins are performing, see where they're going, pay attention to like saves, impressions, clicks, things like that. There's a lot of data on terms of Pinterest, and people are experts in this. I am not at all. I just love to use it. And like I said, I'm getting kind of back into it. I used to post regularly, and now I'm revising my Pinterest profile a bit. I'm going to add some new boards. I'm going to get some different things out there, so that'll be a lot of fun. You can find me on Pinterest at the link here. I will leave it in the show notes. And then next, let's go on to topic number 3 about how to promote your blog posts without social media. So the third major thing you want to do, in no particular order, this can be whatever works for your content production flow, would be to leverage your email marketing. So email remains just one of the most effective ways to reach your audience directly. Email is a platform that you own. You can share content on it in a variety of ways, and pick the best email service provider that's for you. There are a lot of different features of different providers, so use one that matches up to the place you are in your business. So when you're talking about leveraging your email marketing in terms of sharing content, you're going to make sure that you're building your email list. People can sign up. They know how to do that. You have forums on your website. You have links to do that wherever those links may be. You're sending regular newsletters. You can automate your email campaign, so you can create workflows in a lot of the email service providers that walk somebody through, once you tag them, a series of email messages that can be anywhere from 1 until like 20. Some people have very long evergreen workflows and email campaigns that go out. And then you want to include links. So in your email communication to your audience, you want to make sure, of course, that you're adding links to your latest blog posts. Perhaps you summarize the post, perhaps you provide a teaser, perhaps you just give people in the PS, or this is what's going on, this is latest on the blog kind of thing in your email. So then every email that you send really becomes an opportunity for you to promote the content and keep people updated on what you're doing. So next up, when we talk about how to promote blog posts without social media, we can talk about SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization. Now, it's become, again, more of a topic in the online space these days. There have been a lot of changes in SEO. Google has made a lot of content updates. They had a situation where their algorithm got revealed recently. But SEO is basically a way to help your content get found by people who are actively searching for information related to your business. It can be a bit to learn, but incorporating it into your everyday practices will really pay off in the long run. So here's a couple things just to note about SEO, how to make the most of it. You want to do keyword research. So mainly you need to identify what your ideal audience is looking for and how you can match up your content with that. So again, if you're in the wellness space, you're not going to start talking about like how to build a garage, right? That doesn't necessarily match up. You've got to find the words that people in your space are actually using when they go to google.com or any other search platform, even YouTube, Pinterest, etc. Those are all search platforms. So SEO is related on all of those platforms. Another thing you want to keep in mind when it comes to SEO is on-page SEO is called important for specifically web pages that are crawled, it's called, by search engines to find content that both users will match up to the search results. So you do this by formatting your blog post to include targeted keywords in the heading, in the titles, and throughout the content. And then there's a lot of other tips for this, and it can get very techy. So this is just a general overview of SEO. And I myself am learning more about SEO right now. It's not something I really paid attention to for a long time, but I love learning about it. It's a huge part of getting your business found. And I encourage everybody to learn about SEO as much as they can. And then lastly, creating quality content for search engines in terms of optimizing your blog post content. Like they've been saying, how everybody is talking about AI coming out and can you write your blog post with like ChatGPT and all that stuff. You really want to make sure that it's a very high quality, personable, informative content that answers your audience's questions really, because the more valuable it's going to be, the more likely it's going to rank in search results. So the vibe here is always to make something quality over making lots of low value content, right? So think about it in terms of that way. Next, when we talk about promoting your blog post without social media, there are ways to repurpose your blog content into other formats. So say you're someone that starts with a long form blog post as your main content workflow, like your roadmap, the thing that you start with. When we talk about it, usually we talk about making things into social media posts. But since we're working without social media, for this example, we're going to refer to two other formats that usually you can go into to create or repurpose your content, and that being podcasts and videos. So blog posts, podcasts, and videos are the three like trifecta of long form content, the most popular, at least long form content these days. There are different types of content that people use, of course, anywhere from short form to, different types. But what you can do is make your blog post into a video or a podcast by recording, editing, and then publishing it, what you've written. So this assumes perhaps that you do have a podcast set up or a YouTube channel. So not everybody does. So this method might not work for you, or it might not be something you've started yet. But here is an example of my content plan and what I do when I create blog posts and how I get it into the other platforms that I have. This, of course, is just my specific plan. There's lots of varieties of how to do this. So here's what my plan looks like as an example, how to repurpose. Come up with an idea, number one. I decide on when I'll publish that idea. Is it relate basically to what I'm promoting at the time, or the time of year, or anything like that? Whether or not I'm doing a launch or have other projects going on, etc. Then I write the blog post. Sometimes I use AI tools for this, sometimes I do not. Mostly it's really just to get an outline or some ideas, because when I have a topic idea, it's because I've done something with it already, or someone in my audience or one of my clients has asked me about how to do it. So I know basically what I'm going to say, but sometimes the outline can be very helpful in terms of getting you the structure for writing your content. Number 3. So after I write a blog post and publish it, I use the blog post to record my podcast episode. Wink, wink, I am doing that right now. So this actual podcast that you are listening to is a full written blog post on my website right now. So if you go to my site, jessicawangelin.com, and you go to the blog tab in the menu at the top, you'll see this post to come up. It is called 7 Ways to Promote Blog Posts Without Social Media. So what I do when I'm recording is I basically use the blog post that I've written as an outline to talk about this and record this on the podcast that you're hearing right now. Obviously, not all of what I'm saying is written in the blog post. The blog post is more of a formal version of this. The podcast is more like the chatty, casual part of it, right? So I publish the podcast, and my published podcast feeds automatically to my Facebook business page, my YouTube channel, and to, of course, my podcast publisher. And that is really great. So what that does is basically checks off several other outlets where I could promote my content without me having to do anything. So it's like that phrase where you say like hitting 3 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. So I don't really pay much attention to my Facebook business page because there's no traffic and no audience there, no engagement. My YouTube channel is growing a little bit. I get followers there, and I like that. I'm going to pay more attention to that in the future. But right now, my podcast is published live on my YouTube channel. And so it's not a live video. It's just audio with a static image of my podcast cover art on there. So that is another channel that it gets out to. And then I write an email message to my list about the blog post, and I include a chance for people to listen to the podcast if it's published at the time. Or link to, of course, the blog post to read that in a long term. And lastly, I make pins to promote it on Pinterest and in my social media stories once in a while if I feel like it. That's just, part of social, a part of Facebook, Instagram. I'm not on there a ton, even like personally, to be honest. I post things once in a while. I like it. I like the community, but I want to make my plan simple that works for me, especially in the summertime, at being like a busy mom of young kids. You have to get your plan in a place that works for you, for your business. So that's at least what I do for now. I do not create specific social posts for Instagram, and I let my RSS feeds automatically post on platforms that I'm not focusing on growing, where there's little reach, like I said, like my Facebook business page. And so I just spend my time on where it's most valuable, because my blog posts that I have written, this is social media, just general content statistics. Blog posts have lifespans of like 2, 3, 4+ years. Whereas, short form content like shorts and reels and all that stuff usually is about like a week, maybe, if you're lucky. So you have to think about where you want to invest your time. So next up, when we're talking about ways to promote your blog post without social media, we're going to talk about collaboration and doing collaborative content projects. Now, I want to do a future podcast episode about more on this and what it looks like, because there is tons of ideas and lots of great information to share about collaborating with other people for your business. So this can greatly amplify and impact the reach of your blog posts and businesses in general. You can pool resources with other people. You can create content that benefits everyone. So here's a couple of ideas of how to start collaborating if it's not something that you've thought about or you've done. So number 1, collaborative content like projects. There are things that you could do with other people, including webinars, of course, podcast episodes where you have guests, or even things like ebooks or digital products. Could you imagine maybe if you created one of those with someone else and what that would be like? You would have, really almost a double the reach. A lot more ideas involved, a lot more fun doing it perhaps. So that can really bring a totally fresh perspective on what you've done. I've done this specifically with my wellness company, where I make videos and educational materials about, the products that we have for our audience. And it's really fun. I mean, it's a little bit like a lighter work for everybody involved. And collaborations can look like a lot of different things. So that's a fun thing to do. Number 2, when we're talking about collaborating, affiliate programs is, of course, a way to collaborate with people. If you have someone whose product you love, reach out to them, ask if they have an affiliate program, and see what kind of connections you can make with those people. I just did that with someone recently. She had a product in a bundle that I grabbed, and I just loved it. And so I asked her about her affiliate program, which she was just setting up. So that's a really fun thing to do with other people, because then when they're promoting their products, you have the chance to do that as well, and vice versa. When you also have your own affiliate program, you get maximize the reach for people that are sharing it as well. Next up, guest blogging. Great form of collaborating with people. I would suggest, if you are looking to do guest blogging, that instead of just like blanket out messaging strangers, that you actually reach out to people whose blogs you read or people whose email list you're on. So again, you can get a lot of backlinks, which is great for your SEO ranking. People can then invite you to post on their blog. They get to share it with their audiences. There's a lot of benefits for guest blogging. Content swaps is another idea to do with collaboration. So partnering with other people to swap content, do freebie exchanges, things like that. Joint webinars or workshops, like I was saying about doing with others. There's a lot of features that you can share on your content in terms of interviews and roundups. This was a hugely popular experience in the DIY and home decor blogging world. People are still doing tons of roundups of projects. Like, I need all kinds of projects and how to build like a farmhouse, like shelf or whatever it is. And people would share all of those different ideas for everyone that's made a project like that. And then everyone would get exposure from different audiences for doing roundups. Collaboration on ebooks or guides, like I had mentioned, co-hosting podcasts, affiliate partnerships is fun. So the last idea we want to talk about in terms of ways to promote your blog post without social media is to develop a public relations plan. PR is obviously getting yourself out there to the news and media outlets that share content all day, every day, everywhere. By leveraging them, you can, of course, reach a broader audience and establish yourself as an authority. Some people with small businesses, bloggers, etc., specifically look to do this and have a lot of those accolades, like where you've seen they've been featured on certain magazines, certain news channels, certain PR outlets, those kind of things. So this is not necessarily like a beginner route to go when you are looking to promote your content, but it can be something that's really fun. And of course, there are people who specialize in helping you craft a really great public relations plan and get your content seen. This is not something specifically that I have done a forthright, just focused on at any point, but I would love to in the future. And when you're doing that, I would get started with a couple tips. Number one, you want to identify your goals. What exactly are you hoping to achieve by looking to contact news outlets? Perhaps brand awareness, drive traffic, establish yourself as a thought leader, that kind of thing. That's going to determine what you say in terms of your messaging. And you do have to be very clear on what you're going to say to, get your message out there. What specifically, because you will be quoted in news outlets when it comes down to it. You can also build an email list, a media list of journalists, bloggers, other people who cover topics related to your industry. There's a lot of services that help you find things like that. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you're creating some really compelling pitches to get your information out there. They want to make sure that you have something valuable to put that they're going to share to their outlets. You can write press releases, of course, and release them on your own of things that you do, specifically maybe if you have events or you have something you're looking to invite people to. You can leverage those media opportunities, look to be actually speaking on talk shows, news shows, things like that. Engage in thought leadership. There's a lot of different ideas that you can do in terms of getting yourself in the media and getting out there. But media is a broad topic. So not only does it cover all of the media that we see in terms of the news, but it also covers things like magazine features, other major sites that you can write on, things like that. Definitely monitor when you get featured, make sure you have links and save those so you can share them. And then just build relationships with those outlets if that's something you're looking to do to create a bigger PR plan and just share all the content that you have. So in review, super quickly, 7 ways to promote your blog post without social media. Number 1, you want to optimize your website. Make sure that there's a lot of places people can find your content. 2, utilize the power of Pinterest, which is a visual search engine for people to find your content. 3, make sure you are growing your email list and you are communicating with that list regularly. Number 4, you want to optimize your content on your website for SEO so people can find it with keywords and on-page SEO. And next, we are going to repurpose your blog content to other formats. You are going to take a blog post to make it a podcast and vice versa. That's a great thing to do. Number 6, engage in collaborative content ideas with other business owners. That can be a lot of fun and a huge way to grow your list very quickly. And then lastly, develop your own public relations plan, whatever that might look like for you. I hope this helps you and gives you ideas about how to have a very fun and sustainable content plan for your blog post for your business. As always, please come find us on the next show. We will be excited to talk with you then. Thanks so much for listening. So I can help create more shows that help you. I'd love it if you would left a rating and review of the show. And when you get a chance, hop over to my website, jessicawangelin.com, to read the blog and see all the things we have happening to help your business today. See you next time.